Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is MOHAMAD HAKIMI bin JOHARI and I'm from Group 11. So today we are going to discuss about the United States foreign policy. Okay, in order for national governments to conduct international relation with another as well as with international organization and non-governmental actors, among other things, they need to have objectives, strategies, measures and techniques, also guidelines and directive, understandings and agreements that constitute the foundation of their foreign policy. If they do not have these things, it will be difficult for them to conduct international relations. Okay, this article review is divided into two primary parts. The first of which focuses on the theoretical significance of foreign policy, and the second part discusses how these policies contribute to the maintenance of relations among countries and their respective countermeasures. Okay, that's all from me. We're going to proceed to the next speaker.
Hello everyone, my name is Muhammad Adam AIMAN bin AFENDY. My metric number is 065760. By using foreign policy, the state seeks to establish its views and its interests in the international community and relation to other states. They also seeks to establish its values, safeguard its security and welfare, as well as maintaining the power and influence. For example, by establishing the U.S. international drug policy, it is safe to say that the US are serious about combating drug and drug traffickers. This is because the main objective of the US international drug policy is to reduce the supply of illicit narcotic flowing into the United States and to reduce the number of illicit drugs cultivated, processed, and consumed worldwide. To achieve this goal, they use the power to influence people and countries to cultivate a hatred of drugs. Next, the foreign policy ambition of every state to come up against certain restriction. This restriction can be internal, for example, the restriction arising within the state itself, its socio-economic structure, its size and power, the degree of its development, and its political and social stability. The US need to accept the fact that not all countries will support the policy they make. The pursuit of drug control policies can sometimes affect foreign policy interests and bring political instability and economic dislocation to countries where narcotic production has become entrenched economically and socially. For example, countries like Afghanistan, Bolivia, and Colombia are among the nations that produce a large number of narcotics. They probably will not follow the US because they also need to protect their country policy. Last but not least, a decision that is made by an international organization such as the European Union Gateway EU, NATO, and United Nations UN can influence the foreign policy of a state that belongs to this international organization. As a member of international organization, every state needs to participate in the decision-making process of its body. After the decision is made, they will frame the foreign policy of its member, regardless of whether they support or oppose the foreign policy. For example, the US international drug policy has been approved by the EU and other international organizations. Thus, this policy is used as a tool to combat drug trafficking. Thank you so much.
Assalamualaikum and hello everyone, my name is Muhammad Arif Hakimi bin YAACOB and I will be discuss the importance of theoretical foreign policy used by the United States of America. Foreign policy is the set of broad goals that influence a country operation and relationship with other country. America has many connections with other countries, thus resulting in many foreign policies that are imposed to achieve their national interests. America occasionally uses the Neo-Liberalism Theory to make its foreign policy. Neo-Liberalism is the theory of nations utilizing international institutions such as UN and more to spread their word and motive and also fulfill their goals. Many factors can influence policy making, such as the people of the country, the size of the country, and technological advances. American can influence the government and policy making of the country. For example, the drug policy of the US to market the product of cannabis to the international market. The government approved the motion with making the law so that the legal drug can be available for the citizen, but with the high protection. The government imposed heavy taxes on drug-related companies and surveyed them when necessary. Government restricted the trafficking of marijuana from many countries and fixed the number of cannabis products to be exported. The second point is size of the country can become an influence in policy making in the country. America has a massive border. The crime related to the drug will increase if not taken seriously, thus resulting in the American government creating special force such as DEA in every state to secure their society and prevent these crimes from happening. The enforcers have made many operations to discover drug route in and out of the countries and control the cartel influence. The last point is, with the technological advancement, the country can make the policy to utilize it. America have achieved many technological advances in both detection of drug and pharmaceutical sector. For example, saliva test and machine that can detect drug usage by the criminal, and also medical made by them.
Many people think that foreign policy is just about war and conflict, but the truth is, the foreign policy is much more than that. It is the way that our government used to maintain relations among other countries. It is used to affect other countries' decisions and to respond to the action of other countries. Maintaining relations among countries is a foreign policy goal. So, how does states use their foreign policy to maintain the relation between countries? Firstly, the most common way to achieve the goal is through diplomacy. Through diplomacy, countries attempt to resolve conflict and achieve goal without using force. Foreign policy is the use of power and diplomacy by a state to affect the interests of other countries. It is used to maintain the current relationship among states and to get the best deal possible on issues and to influence other states to get our way. Secondly, is through bilateral or multilateral cooperation. Essentially, all elements of U.S. international narcotic control strategy require international cooperation. For example, the states encourage and assist nations to reduce cultivation, production and trafficking in illicit drugs with the international cooperation. U.S. international narcotic control strategy also requires cooperation among governments to coordinate their border operation to interdict traffickers. To this end, the US government has provided technical assistance for anti-drug programs in other countries.
Now I will talk about how the United States drug policy helps in maintaining relations among the countries at the international level. Firstly, through agreements, which is the United Nations Convention 1988, and programs between two countries alone, bilateral programs. The United States has been an active supporter of collective joint action by nations under the 1988 United Nations Convention. These latest agreements includes traditional aspects of drug production and trafficking in keeping with the United Nations Conventions of 1988. Then, United States also work together with other countries to overcome the drug problems. The link between drug trafficking and international terrorism, which became apparent in the 1990s, is forcing the United States, its allies and international organizations to increase enforcement actions by limiting and preventing money laundering. And the third is the United States has a drug policy with other countries. The United States government has active drug control programs in the three countries. During the 1990s, the United States assisted Bolivia and Peru in their efforts to reduce coca cultivation. In 2000, the United States approved a $1.3 billion emergency assistance package to Colombia to help the Colombian government. Then, the United States has also increased its military assistance to Latin America to help fight narcotics trafficking. So, that's the way the United States maintain the relation among countries through drug policy.
Hey guys, we are coming to the conclusion parts. Okay, to summarize, foreign policy is a tool that you will use in your job as a leader to establish and deepen connection with other nations. You will do this via the employment of foreign policy. You will make use of the foreign policy to establish relationship with your allies so that you may accomplish the objective you have to set for yourself. The United States of America keeps its international links alive by the employment of its foreign policy. Cooperation on a bilateral or multinational level is still another possibility. The Department of State of the United States assists other nations in their effort to eradicate the manufacturing and trafficking of illegal drugs. As a result, the US government has recognized the significance of foreign policy, both theoretically and practically. We can see that the United States administration used an international strategy to counter drug activity inside their nation, as it is also a proactive move in maintaining national cohesion.